Hi, I'm Renee.
And I'm Debbie, and together
We
we
are
are
the
the
Round
Round
Table
Table
Recap.
Recap.
Hey, welcome back. We are on Traitors UK's Season 3, Episode 10, and it kicks off again with the breakfast where Freddie and Frankie are the first ones in. And at this point, Frankie just says that she isn't surprised to be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then other people kind of trickle in. This is where Jake points out to Alexander that he suspects that there's a male traitor among the mist of everybody.
Right,
So this kind of starts that thing going because it kind of flows into the rest of this episode that there's this potential male traitor since all of the ones who have been voted off so far have all been female.
right. Yeah, and I think it's funny because every chance is showing every chance he gets, Freddie brings up Mina. Like when
Yes.
Freddie was talking with Frankie. Yeah. So it's just funny because as soon as he finds somebody that he can talk to, he brings up Mina.
Yeah, I have a lot of different things also throughout the episode where Mina's name gets brought up a lot.
Hmm.
But yeah, then you find out Joe is the one who they decided to murder the night before, and it's really
Hmm.
essentially because he is a loud voice. So
Right.
they thought he would have too much pull over things.
Yeah, and I think that's true. I mean, especially when he and Jake would get together, I think they made a strong team.
Hmm.
So I thought it was smart that at least they went for one of them, either Joe or Jake. But I really think they had to break up because they're two strong personalities. So I
Yeah.
think they were smart in getting one of them out.
Yeah, 100%. They basically they really do like lead the charge on a lot of
Hmm.
things. So yeah, this is one of those points where I have now Charlotte and Freddie are discussing, and Freddie brings up Mina as being a potential
Hmm.
traitor and says that he is going to bring her up at the round table, which,
Right.
it's kind of funny because he's telling the other traitor this point. So
You're right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody does trust Charlotte. Everyone thinks pretty
Hmm.
much that she's a faithful. I mean, she's been brought up as being suspected as a traitor, but at the end of the day, I feel like everyone thinks and quote unquote knows she's a faithful.
Right. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why Nina recruited her was because when Charlotte came under suspicion at the round table, she was able to defend herself. I mean, that was one of the things that Mina liked.
Yeah. But I think that's also one of the downsides too, is recruiting someone who has such a strong presence or a strong label as being a faithful.
Mhm.
I don't think it helps the other traitor. I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't have
Yeah.
chosen her, but yeah.
Yeah. I think you have to choose somebody who's I wouldn't choose a player who is a stronger faithful than me. If I was a traitor, I would want to be perceived as a stronger faithful
Yeah.
than whoever I recruited.
Yeah,
Kind of
because
saying the same thing as you.
yeah, because you want to recruit somebody that ultimately could be almost like a shield for you, where if
Right.
they get voted out, then they're like, "Oh, we caught a traitor," and it just kind of deters the attention to
Hmm.
you.
Right.
So yeah, this is also a show where Jake is with Leanne and Mina, and he brings up again about his theory that it has to be a guy. So he's looking at either Freddie or Alexander as one.
Right.
Um,
Because I think at this point they're the only guys left besides Jake, right?
yeah,
Is
it's
there
just
another?
the
Yeah.
no, it's just those three, and that's it.
Yeah.
So then I have where Freddie brings up Mina to Jake
Hmm.
and Frankie. So you have those two dynamics. There's a guy trader or a male trader, or it's Mina. Like those are the two that are being pushed this episode.
Yeah.
Um,
And Freddie points out that he trusts Leanne. They had that conversation
yeah.
about how he wouldn't ever put her name down at the round table, but Leanne doesn't really trust anybody.
I mean, I think the closest ally she still has is Mina. But yeah, she's
Yeah.
also like on the fence of who she really believes is a faithful or not.
Yeah, because you're down to seven, so it's like, yeah, that's a very small group
Yeah.
to try to find a traitor. You just look at each other.
Right, but you can also tell that Jake does trust Mina because Jake is the one who goes and tells Mina and Leanne because those two are discussing, who they think might be the traitor. And he's
Hmm.
the one who tells Mina that Frankie is pushing that she could possibly be a traitor. So at least at this point, someone, because you can't count on your other traitor to say, "Hey,
Right.
your
Right.
name is being thrown around." At least at
Uh,
this point in the episode. So yeah, that's all I really have until they go into the mission. Did you have anything else to add?
no.
Okay.
Nope. On to the mission.
Yeah, onto the mission, which is basically a chessboard. The traders have previously answered questions the night before. In this mission, the group has to decide who the answer is, because it's a person that the traders would have picked to answer the question. So they have to think like the traders. And
Hmm.
for every guess they get right, they get £2,000.
Yeah.
Um,
So each chess piece that comes onto the board is going to represent the question.
Correct. And I want to say there's 5 questions that get asked. I
Yes.
kind of like it
Yeah.
because
There's five.
it's almost like wizard chess, in Harry Potter, where like the
Oh,
chess pieces move by themselves
right.
essentially, and
Hmm.
because the chess piece will move to whoever the team guesses is the name, and
No,
either
not the chess piece, the traitor. The chess piece is on, say they pick
oh,
Leanne, so the
you
chess piece
are
is on
right.
Leanne's.
Yes, and it's the
Oh,
hooded thing. Yes,
the
that
traitor.
comes. Yes, the traitor. I don't know why I thought it was a chess piece. Yes, so
You're
the
like,
traitor moves to the slot. So I don't
I'm
even know
like,
what
I don't remember the chess piece moving other than them pushing it.
I don't know why I thought it was the chess piece that moves. Okay.
Because that's what you wanted to see.
Yeah. I'm thinking of wizard chess. All right, all right. That's a terrible explanation, but we got there. So
Yes.
question number one is, who they thought was the leader of the pack, which they guessed right. Everyone thought it was Jake, and that was
Mhm.
correct. The next one is who's slipping under the radar, which they guessed Mina, and that's correct. And then who's the most two-faced, which they
Yeah.
all guessed Alexander, which was
Mhm.
incorrect because they chose Leanne, and
Well,
of course,
you said they all chose Alexander, but Alexander once again volunteered to have his name put out there.
okay, yes, he volunteered and everyone yeah, because this question, obviously, nobody wants to step up and say, "Oh, I think so and so is
Mhm.
most two-faced." No
Right.
one wants
Right.
yeah, they don't wanna create any type of waves among the group, but this upsets Leanne when they find out that she was the one.
Right.
Which I was kinda I mean, I get it, but I don't get it because Leanne has been very straightforward, and when she hears something, she has been the one person that will go and be like, "So what is
Yeah.
this?" Confronts the person right away.
Yeah.
So,
I thought this was a bad answer on the trader's part. It kind of backfires on them.
so then the next question though is who's the biggest threat to the traders, which again is Jake, and they get that one correct.
Hmm.
Um, and then it's this last question is the one who it kind of backfires later on in the game
Yeah.
because the question is whose voice is the most irrelevant.
Right.
And they ultimately go with Charlotte, but before that, Frankie, I think she actually throws out her own name.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the group went, they were like, no. And then the group went. So even when she
Yeah.
tried,
Yeah.
even when she tries to say she's irrelevant, the group is like, nah.
Yeah. Yeah. Example A. No, I'm moving on. That is funny. It's the most ironic thing. But yeah, so this is where it backfires because Mina, obviously, she knows the answer and she's trying to like curve it back to Frankie.
Yeah.
And she's the only one that's like, well, wait a minute, because then Charlotte pipes up and is like, well, maybe it's me. And they ultimately decide to go with Charlotte,
Hmm.
but Frankie is the one
Right.
who kind of makes a mental note of like Nina's the one who pushed my name, and then with getting the answer incorrect and it being
Hmm.
Frankie, this puts even more of a red or a target on Mina's back.
Yeah. Yeah. Mina shouldn't have tried to explain, because she was trying to say that they were interpreting the question wrong
Yeah.
or differently. Yeah. She should have just let it go, just let the group decide.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I know she was just trying to get more money banked, but especially since, Jake had already brought up the fact that her name is being thrown around, I would have
Hmm.
really like taken a back seat if I was her. Just
Right.
let it play out. But yeah, so this is the little bit of a twist where it comes to light that this is the last time a shield will be available to the group. And basically, one by one, they get to choose this little box. And in the box, it's either empty or it has a shield. They
Hmm.
look at this box in front of people, but they open the box to where the other players can't see it.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
surprisingly, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing the other players can see is the person's reaction when they open the
Yes.
box. Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone's pretty much trying to put a poker face on whether they got it or not.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
surprisingly, the shields are just destined for Leanne. Leanne's the one who gets
Yep.
the shields.
Yep.
Um,
And it's up to them
mhm.
whether they want to share with anybody if they have the shield or not. They don't have to say anything.
Yeah, Leanne doesn't disclose it to anybody. So then that's really it about the mission. So going
Mhm.
back in, I have where Frankie and Freddie they discuss Mina.
Yeah, the fact that Mina trying to get the answer back to Frankie instead of on
Hmm.
Charlotte. Yeah, so that was not good for Mina.
Not at all. And so there's more talk about possibly one guy being a traitor. And it's
Yeah.
ironically, Jake is talking to Alexander at this point, and
Right.
yeah, it's like he's basically
Yeah.
accusing him or, Freddie, but, they're looking
Yeah.
at all the portraits and looking at everybody.
Yeah.
Uh,
And Alexander's like, no, it is possible to have an all female traders.
yeah, 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 because he's like, no, 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 I don't need the heat. Nope, nope.
Yeah.
I just have more discussion around, who everyone suspects.
Well, there was that conversation with Leanne. It was Leanne, Charlotte, and Mina. And
Hmm.
Leanne brings up about, because she's trying to figure out why somebody would say that she was two faced. And so she brings up about when Mina was marked at that,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
But it was Leanne and Dan who had marked Mina, and they
Hmm.
both had denied marking her. So Leanne brings up that, and was asking about being two faced because of that. Yeah,
Yes.
so
Which
Mina's got to.
we didn't even add in because before the mission, right after breakfast, Leanne and Nina talk about being the mark, the whole situation.
Oh,
So it's
okay,
already
yeah.
been brought up. So then Leanne's like, is it coincidence? And Mina's like, yeah, it's a total
Hmm.
coincidence. Why would I? Like, that's too
Yeah,
obvious, same day and whatever. So yeah, that's a double whammy on
yeah,
Mina.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mina's had a hard day so far.
Yeah, yeah, from going to, like, nobody suspecting her to, like, 100% being on I mean, not everybody's radar, I shouldn't say 100%, but a lot of people.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was that mission. It was that chess game that really. I mean,
mhm,
on both of those, on both the Two Faced and on uh, who's the most irrelevant. There,
yeah,
yeah, should have went safe. Just safe. Keep your mouth shut, and that's it. And probably her name still may have been brought up, but not to the extent that it is now.
yeah, it's just everything is just kinda digging the grave for her even further
Hmm.
along
Yeah.
this episode. So, surprisingly, though, Charlotte pulls
Hmm.
Mina aside, and this is where she finally tells Mina to say
Hmm.
it's between her or Freddie is what
Right.
everyone is gonna discuss at the round table. So at least she
Yeah.
does I mean, Mina's already kind of prepared, but at least she finally
Hmm.
gives her fellow traitor a heads up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that she did. I mean, I was surprised about that. So I'm glad that she did at least let her know. Yeah. But I think in the confessional, Charlotte still said she wasn't sure what she was going to do at the round table.
Yes. Yeah, her
Okay.
biggest worry was that if she voted for Mina but didn't have enough votes to get her out. That
Hmm.
was her big thing, which
Yeah.
plays on being ironic later on. So, I just have now that they're at the round table.
Yep. And Jake starts and he
Mhm.
pushes his theory about there being a male traitor. And then Leanne jumps in on that and said that she suspects, Alexander and Freddie.
Which then really Freddie points to Mina
Hmm.
because he believes that's why Jake has lasted so long is the fact that Mina has been keeping him in. And
Right.
Alexander, in his defense, also points to Mina because she looks innocent. It's a weird thing. Like, even she's like, so I'm guilty because I look innocent, which makes me look guilty. And
Hmm.
yeah. And
Yeah, and Mina's trying to push it back on Freddie. She's trying to deflect everything back to Freddie.
yeah, and then even Frankie asked Mina about the question about,
Hmm.
her trying to push that Frankie's voice was irrelevant. And then I have even Charlotte jumps in and
Hmm.
tries to play like a middle ground here, where again, she's, Mina could be, but there's no evidence. And then just, that's
I
it.
know. I hate though when she does that. It's like, yeah, I'll support you. Maybe. No, I don't
Yeah.
think I will.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just so wishy-washy. Um,
So Mina's left alone trying to defend herself. I mean, Jake did try to jump in and try to defend her as well, but yeah. And then I have it just goes to votes from there.
And basically, Charlotte seals Mina's fate because at this point,
Hmm.
it's like 2-2 or so, or they're like tied. They're tied up between Freddie and Mina because
Right.
Leanne's vote went to somebody else. I can't even remember.
Alexa-
Alexander.
Alexander.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so her vote was kind of like a wash away, and but
Yeah.
Charlotte's vote was Mina. Had she have voted for Freddie, then Mina would have still been in the game.
Yeah,
Which
and
is,
that's what Mina had, trusted Charlotte to do was to have her back, and but in the end, Charlotte didn't.
I mean,
So,
Charlotte never had Mina's back from the
nope,
beginning. The moment that she became a
nope,
traitor, she never had Mina's back, which, yeah,
yeah,
again, is unfortunate because I like Mina.
yeah. I mean, we knew that she didn't have her back, but Mina thought Charlotte
Yeah,
had her back. Yeah.
yeah. So I have where Jake is 100% that believes that Charlotte is a faithful because he's speaking with Leanne. And,
Hmm.
they're still going on about possibly Alexander as being one. And
Right,
then this is kind of where it's Frankie, Jake, and Charlotte. And this is where Leanne confides that she's the one who got the shields.
right. Yeah, lucky Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise
And
she'd be going blind trying to murder somebody
mhm,
if Leanne hadn't said anything.
yeah. And this is where I was shocked. I was shocked to my core. No, not really. But I was shocked. Well, okay, it's because, they end the night and well, do you have anything before the end of the night before I get to the turret and all that?
Well, other than Claudia brings up about there's going to be this new power that's going to be revealed. So that had some of them talking about what is this new power that's coming
Yes.
up. Yeah,
Yeah. It's exciting to see next episode how all that definitely turns out.
yeah,
But I was
yeah.
more surprised at how this episode ended
Hmm.
because Charlotte is now forced to recruit somebody
Hmm.
and she ultimately decides Freddie.
Poor
And
Freddie.
yeah, I mean he's 100%, yeah, just because he's 100% a shield for her, which I said
Right.
would be a smart move, but I feel so bad for Freddie because
Yeah.
not only is he 100% a shield, but then she even I don't even know how else to say this other than like does him even more dirty because
Right.
she pushes him to be okay with murdering or trying to murder Leanne, knowing that she has the shields and that she
Right.
was one of the ones that Leanne confided in. So that way things could turn on Freddie. So it's like not only did
Yeah.
you just recruit him, but now you want to kick him to the curb in the next game. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. I feel bad for him because yeah, he doesn't know obviously, and he trusts her to a certain
yeah.
point,
I'm
but
like,
yeah,
oh, this is evil. This is I mean
yeah, her true colors are coming out.
I mean, it's a game. It's a game. I mean, you can't knock her, I
It's a
guess,
good
for it
strategy. I
is.
mean,
It is, but oh,
it's probably the best strategy that they've anybody's had in the entire game. But I just feel bad that it's, Freddie. I mean, it's a total setup. So
It is. I just feel so terrible for him. I feel so bad. So
yeah.
yeah, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next episode." Not only do we get to see this new power, but I really want to know what happens to Freddy. Like, because Leanne's not a quiet person. So I'm like, is
No.
Leanne going to say, I have the shield? And is she going to say, well, these people knew. And obviously, Charlotte's name's going to come to light if that's the way Leanne decides to play it. So right away,
Well,
Freddy's going to be like,
yeah, he's gonna know.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
because I think what the only people that didn't know are what Freddie and Alexander. Are they the only ones that didn't know that she's got a shield?
Oh,
I think it's
yeah.
Freddie and Alexander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freddie and Alexander are the only two that don't know.
Yeah. And both
Yeah.
male, so that supports Jake's theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it just doesn't look good.
No, I mean it's smart if it goes the way that Charlotte wants it to go. I will give her
Yeah.
that credit. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good gameplay. But I
Yep.
think it's a very risky move, especially because Leanne is not afraid to voice
No,
anything.
no, she'll lay it all out there.
Yeah. All right, so stay tuned.
So
I'm excited for this next episode. Let's see what happens.
yeah.